Good morning, students. Today we are going to study about the chemical coordination and integration. It is the last chapter in zoology. Yes. What is chemical coordination and integration? You have already learned that the neural system provides a point-to-point rapid coordination among organs. Isn't it? Yes. Neural system provides a point-to-point rapid coordination. The neural coordination is fast, but it is short-lived. As the nerve fibers do not innervate all cells of the body and the cellular functions need to be continuously regulated. Did you understand? The neural coordination is fast, but it is short-lived. As the nerve fibers do not innervate all cells of the body and the cellular functions need to be continuously regulated. So, a special kind of coordination and integration has to be provided. This function is carried out by hormones. Yes, that is the chemical. That chemical is coordinating our functions, body functions. So, the neural system and the endocrine system jointly coordinate and regulate the physiological functions in the body. Now, did you understand what are the systems are coordinating our body? Neural system and endocrine system jointly coordinate and regulate physiological functions in the body. Today we are going to start the new chapter, chemical coordination and integration. Endocrine system. Endocrine system includes endocrine glands and their secretions. Endocrine glands secretes the chemical substance called as hormones. Okay, so hormones are non-nutrient chemicals that act as intercellular messengers and are produced in trace amount. That means little bit is enough to control and coordinate our body function. Here we can see the location of a human endocrine system. The location of endocrine glands. First we can study about what are the endocrine glands present in our body. Hypothalamus, pituitary gland, pineal gland, thyroid gland, parathyroid gland, thymus, adrenal, pancreas and gonads. Gonads are two types, male and female gonads. Testes and ovaries. We can see the location of all endocrine glands in the human body. First, hypothalamus, both female and male. The hypothalamus is present in the brain. We can see already studied in this previous chapter. Hypothalamus. The pituitary gland is present just below the brain. Small pea size gland is pituitary. Then pineal gland, near just below this pituitary gland, there is a presence of pineal. So three glands are present in the brain itself. Then thyroid gland, the neck region, we can see the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland, there is a presence of one more parathyroid glands. Parathyroid glands embedded in the thyroid gland. Then thymus, just near the trachea and the heart. Near the heart and the trachea, there is a presence of thymus gland. See the location of adrenal gland just above the kidney. Can you see the position of the kidney? Yes, the right kidney is just lower than that of the left one. Okay, due to the presence of liver here. So just above the kidney, there is a cap-like structure called adrenal gland. Then pancreas. Pancreas is a digestive system connected with the in between this stomach and the duodenum, pancreas, ovary in female, the testes in male. All these are endocrine glands and their location. Is it clear? First we can start with the hypothalamus. In the picture itself we can see clearly the location of hypothalamus. If you take a cross section, see here, forebrain itself there is a presence of hypothalamus. It is a neurosecretory cells of hypothalamus secrete the following types of hormones. Here we can see some neurosecretory cells, some nuclei. Neurosecretory cells are present in the hypothalamus, secrete some hormones. What are the hormones are secreted by hypothalamus? Releasing hormone, in short we can say RH, inhibiting hormone IH, oxytocin and vasopressin. All these are released by hypothalamus. We can see what are the three types of hormones secreted by the hypothalamus. First one, releasing hormones. What's the function? It stimulates the secretion of pituitary hormones. Did you understand? The pituitary gland is controlled by hypothalamus. The secretion of pituitary gland is controlled by, stimulated by hypothalamus. Example, gonadotropin releasing hormone release the gonadotropins from pituitary. Did you understand? Gonadotropin releasing hormone. So releasing hormones are secreted by hypothalamus. These releasing hormones are initiating the pituitary gland to secrete the particular hormone. For example, gonadotropin hormone is initiated by gonadotropin releasing hormone. Then only the pituitary gland will secrete gonadotropin hormone. Did you understand now? Yes. All releasing hormones are released by hypothalamus. Next one, inhibiting hormone. Inhibit the secretion of pituitary hormones. For example, somatostatin inhibits release of growth hormone from pituitary. It will inhibit. Inhibitory hormone is released by hypothalamus. It will inhibit the pituitary hormone to release the growth hormone. Next one, oxytocin and vasopressin. These are transported axonally and stored in pituitary. Actually, this oxytocin and vasopressin is produced by posterior pituitary. Actually, it is produced from hypothalamus. Now it is stored in pituitary gland. Did you understand? The next gland is pituitary gland. It is located in a bony cavity called sella turcica. Pituitary gland is present in a bony cavity. That cavity is called sella turcica, and it is attached to hypothalamus by a stalk. A small tubular structure is connecting the pituitary gland to the hypothalamus. Here see, we can see it is a pituitary gland and it is connected with the hypothalamus through a small stalk. What are the parts of pituitary? The pituitary glands have two lobes. Adenohypophysis, it is the anterior pituitary. Neurohypophysis, it is the posterior pituitary. Adenohypophysis, it is the anterior pituitary. Here we can see anterior pituitary. This lobe is called adenohypophysis. The neurohypophysis is the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Okay. Again, the adenohypophysis is divided into two: pars distalis and pars intermedia. We can see pars distalis and pars intermedia. Pituitary glands have two lobes: anterior lobe, posterior lobe. Anterior lobe is known as adenohypophysis. Posterior lobe is known as neurohypophysis. Again, the anterior lobe is divided into two parts, pars distalis and pars intermedia. Is it clear? Yes. Pars distalis, it is the part of the anterior pituitary. Okay, it produces the following hormones. What are the hormones are produced by pars distalis? Somatotrophin or growth hormone, prolactin PRL, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. All these hormones are released by pars distalis, that means anterior lobe of pituitary gland. Is it clear? What are the hormones? GH, growth hormone, PRL, prolactin. The growth hormone is used for controlling our growth. Prolactin, production of milk gland. Thyroid stimulating hormone, not a thyroid hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, TSH. This hormone is stimulating thyroid gland to produce thyroxine. Is it clear? So thyroid stimulating hormone is produced by pituitary gland. Then adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. This hormone is stimulating adrenal gland to secrete their secretion. Then follicle stimulating hormone, follicles means in both male and female follicles are producing their gametes. Then luteinizing hormones, also in the sex hormones. So totally all these hormones are stimulating other glands to secrete their secretions. That's why the pituitary gland is otherwise called as master gland. Did you understand? All the other glands are controlled by the secretions of pituitary gland. We can see the functions of this pars distalis. First one, somatotrophic hormone or growth hormone, and it is controlling, used for body growth. Growth hormone is used for body growth. Over secretion of growth hormone causes gigantism. Here see, gigantism, abnormal growth. And hyposecretion, that means lack of somatotrophic hormone, causes dwarfism, stunned growth. Is it clear? Do you remember one film? The Malayalam film Alfutha Deevu. Yes, in that film we can see the dwarfism and gigantism. Overgrowth is known as gigantism. The stunned growth is known as dwarfism. Due to the abnormal growth of overgrowth, oversecretion and deficiency of growth hormone causes gigantism and dwarfism. Oversecretion causes gigantism and the lack of growth hormone causes dwarfism. Did you understand? Yes, oversecretion of growth hormone in adults, mainly in middle age, causes acromegaly. It is not gigantism means overproduction. Means sometimes in middle age, the oversecretion of somatotropin hormone causes acromegaly. Here we can see severe disfigurement, especially of face. It leads to serious complications and premature death. Early diagnosis of the disease is difficult. It may be undetected for many years. What about the next hormone released by pituitary gland? Prolactin. It regulates growth of mammary gland and milk production. Thyroid stimulating hormone, in short TSH. It stimulates secretion of thyroid hormones from thyroid gland. Yes, thyroid gland is present in the neck region. The secretion of this thyroid gland is stimulated by thyroid stimulating hormone. But thyroid stimulating hormone is produced by which gland? Pituitary gland. Don't forget it. Then adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. It stimulates the synthesis and secretion of steroid hormones, glucocorticoid from adrenal cortex. Adrenal gland present just above the kidney. This gland is stimulated by ACTH. ACTH is produced by pituitary gland. The next hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, FSH, stimulates gonadal activity. It controls the activity of gonads. In males, FSH and androgens. Androgen is a male sex hormone, regulate sperm formation. So, spermatogenesis. FSH and androgen regulate spermatogenesis, formation of sperm in male. In female, FSH stimulate the growth and development of the ovarian follicles. It is ovary. These ovarian follicles are controlled by FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. So, FSH is controlling both male and female gonads. In testes, the FSH stimulates the production of the sperm. In male, it stimulates the growth and development of ovarian follicles. The next hormone secreted by pituitary gland is luteinizing hormone, in short LH. It stimulates gonadal activity. In males, it stimulates the synthesis and secretion of androgen from testes. Yes, only LH is luteinizing hormone is stimulating the testes to produce androgen. Androgen is very important. It is the male sex hormone. The production of male sex hormone from testes. But it is stimulated by luteinizing hormone. And in female, it induces ovulation. What is the meaning of the ovulation? Production of ovum from the ovary. It is ovary. The production of ovum from the ovary is called ovulation. This ovulation process is induced by LH and it maintains corpus luteum. Corpus luteum means the matured ovum producing ovum. Afterwards, it will change into corpus luteum. Next, we can study about pars intermedia. It is also the part of anterior lobe of the pituitary gland. Here, pars intermedia, in between anterior and posterior lobe. In human, it is almost merged with the pars distalis. Okay, it is almost merged with the pars distalis. It produces melanocyte stimulating hormone, MSH. MSH acts on melanocytes to regulate skin pigmentation. Next, we can see the neurohypophysis, that means posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. It stores oxytocin and vasopressin. These two hormones are released by hypothalamus and it is coming from hypothalamus and stored here, posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. What is the function of the oxytocin? It contracts the smooth muscles. Especially in females, it stimulates contraction of the uterus at the time of childbirth. At the time of delivery, there is a contraction of the smooth muscle taking place with the help of the hormone known as oxytocin and milk ejection from the mammary gland. So what are the functions of the oxytocin? Contraction of the uterus and milk ejection at the time of birth of the child. One more hormone is present, released out from the posterior lobe, vasopressin. The vasopressin is otherwise known as ADH, that means anti-diuretic hormone. Vasopressin is also known as anti-diuretic hormone. Why? It stimulates reabsorption of water and electrolytes by DCT. DCT means distal convoluted tubule of kidney and thereby reduces diuresis. That means loss of water through urine. Did you understand? It will increase the reabsorption of water in the kidney. So it will reduce the loss of water through urine. That's why this hormone is known as antidiuretic hormone. In short, vasopressin. Don't forget it. Then deficiency of ADH, antidiuretic hormone, results in diminished ability of the kidney to conserve water, leading to water loss and dehydration. This is called diabetes insipidus, not diabetes mellitus. Diabetes mellitus means the sugar patients, isn't it? Yes, but it is dehydration. This disease is known as diabetes insipidus. The next gland is pineal gland. The smallest endocrine gland. The pineal gland is the smallest endocrine gland just near the pituitary. It is located on dorsal side of forebrain. It is located on dorsal side of forebrain. It secretes melatonin. What is the secretion of the pineal gland? Melatonin. What are the functions of the melatonin? It regulates diurnal rhythm of body. Diurnal means daytime, 24 hours rhythm of our body. Example, sleep, wake cycle, body temperature, everything is controlled by melatonin. So, and it influences metabolism, pigmentation and menstrual cycle. Okay, and also it influences our defense capability. Okay, children? Yes. What are the functions of the melatonin? It regulates diurnal rhythm of body, influences metabolism, pigmentation and menstrual cycle. It influences our defense capability. That's all about pineal gland. Okay? So, this much is enough for you. Study well. If you have any doubt, contact me, because this chapter is very important for you for the next year. So, dear children, read this chapter line by line and study well. Okay? Now it's the time for smart class.
The functions of the cells in the human body need to be continuously regulated. However, the nerve fibers of the neural system do not innervate all the body's cells. Therefore, the function of regulating the body's cells is performed by the hormones secreted by the endocrine system. The endocrine system, in association with the neural system, functions in a coordinated way to maintain the physiological functions of the body. Both the endocrine and the nervous systems collectively form the neuroendocrine system of the body, and the combined study of these two systems is called neuroendocrinology. Did you know that endocrinology is a branch of medicine dealing with the study of the endocrine glands and the actions of their hormones? Thomas Addison, an English physician and scientist, is popularly known as the father of endocrinology. The human endocrine system consists of various endocrine glands present in different parts of the body. The forebrain houses the hypothalamus, which is the basal part of the diencephalon. Just below the hypothalamus is a small, pinkish, pea-shaped gland called the pituitary gland, also known as the master gland of the endocrine system. Another gland located on the dorsal side of the forebrain is the pineal gland, which is a small, reddish-gray gland shaped like a pine cone. The neck has the largest endocrine gland in the body, the thyroid gland. It lies on the ventral and lateral sides of the upper part of the trachea. The thyroid gland has 4 P-shaped glands embedded wholly or partially in its dorsal surface. These glands are called the parathyroid glands. Just above the heart, a soft, pinkish, bilobed mass of lymphoid tissue is present called the thymus gland. In the loop of the duodenum is located an elongated yellow-colored gland called the pancreas, the second largest endocrine gland in our body. On the upper border of both the kidneys lie the adrenal glands, which are yellowish and triangular in shape. The gonads are also endocrine glands. In males, the scrotal sac bears the gonads, which is a pair of testes, while in females, the abdomen bears the gonads, which is a pair of ovaries. The endocrine glands pour their secretions directly into the venous blood for passage to different body organs to control and coordinate their functions. Due to the absence of ducts, the endocrine glands are also known as ductless glands, and the secretions of these glands are called hormones. Hormones are non-nutrient chemical messengers secreted in trace amounts by glands or neurons. They are soluble in water and blood, and most hormones come into contact with essentially all the cells as they circulate in the blood. However, each hormone usually affects only a limited number of cells, called target cells, where it regulates a definite physiological effect. A target cell responds to a hormone because it bears receptors for that hormone. A hormone receptor is a receptor protein that binds to a specific hormone. These hormone receptors are found either on the surface of a cell or within its cytoplasm, depending on the type of hormone. Cells that do not have receptors cannot be directly influenced by that hormone. Moreover, hormone secretions are induced by a stimulus and have an activating influence on the neighboring or distant tissues. The hormones are degraded by tissues and are excreted by the liver into bile and by the kidneys into urine. Hormones are also secreted by the exocrine glands, such as the salivary glands, sweat glands, and sebaceous glands. These glands, in contrast to endocrine glands, release their secretions through ducts and are hence called duct glands. There are also a few glands in the human body, such as the pancreas and gonads, that have both exocrine and endocrine properties. These glands are known as heterocrine glands. In these glands, the exocrine part releases its secretions through ducts, while the endocrine part releases its hormones directly into the blood. In addition to these glands and organs, hormones are also secreted by the gastrointestinal tract, liver, kidneys, and heart. Thus, the human endocrine system, along with the exocrine and heterocrine glands, helps in the control and coordination of the body. The human endocrine system is composed of several endocrine glands in different parts of the body. The 3 endocrine glands in the brain are the hypothalamus, pituitary, and pineal glands. The hypothalamus is a part of the forebrain and appears as the floor of the diencephalon. It is formed of grey matter that contains neurosecretory cells called nuclei, which produce hormones called neurohormones. Neurohormones regulate the synthesis and secretion of pituitary hormones. They are of two types: releasing hormones and inhibiting hormones. The releasing hormones of the hypothalamus stimulate the anterior pituitary to secrete its hormones. For example, gonadotrophin-releasing hormone stimulates the release of follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH, and luteinizing hormone, or LH, from the pituitary. On the other hand, the inhibiting hormones of the hypothalamus stop the anterior pituitary from secreting hormones. For example, somatostatin inhibits the release of the growth hormone from the pituitary. These hypothalamic hormones pass through the axons and are released from their nerve endings into the pituitary and into the portal circulatory system. This hypothalamic pituitary system is direct proof of coordination between the hormonal and nervous systems. It maintains homeostasis inside the body and regulates most of its physiological activities. The pituitary gland, which is also known as the hypophysis, lies in the sella turcica of the sphenoid bone. It is attached to the hypothalamus by a stalk. Pituitary is the smallest endocrine gland, yet it is called the master of endocrine glands because it produces hormones that control the thyroid gland, the adrenal cortex, and the gonads. Anatomically, the pituitary is divided into the adenohypophysis, or the anterior pituitary, and the neurohypophysis, or the posterior pituitary. The adenohypophysis develops as an outgrowth of the ectoderm, called Rothke's pouch, in the roof of the buccal cavity of the developing embryo. It includes an intermediate lobe, or pars intermedia, and anterior lobe, or pars distalis. The pars intermedia atrophies during human fetal development. Did you know that in humans, the pars intermedia is almost merged with the pars distalis? While the pars distalis produces several important hormones such as the growth hormone, or GH, prolactin, or PRL, thyroid-stimulating hormone, or TSH, adrenocorticotropic hormone, or ACTH, luteinizing hormone, or LH, and follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH, the pars intermedia secretes only one hormone called melanocyte-stimulating hormone, or MSH. Let's learn about the various hormones secreted by the pars distalis of the anterior pituitary. The growth hormone, or somatotropic hormone, acts on the liver, skeletal muscle, cartilage, bone, and causes cells to grow and multiply. Hyposecretion of this hormone during the growth years or puberty causes dwarfism, in which both bone and organs fail to grow. Moreover, body proportions become childlike. Conversely, hypersecretion of the growth hormone during childhood causes gigantism, which leads to an abnormal increase in the length of the bones. Persons affected by gigantism have extraordinarily long limbs. Such people grow very tall, but their body proportions are about normal. Hypersecretion of the growth hormone causes acromegaly in adults. This condition is characterized by the abnormal growth of the hands, feet, and face, especially of the lower jaw. Prolactin is known as the maternity hormone because it stimulates the development of the mammary glands during pregnancy and lactation after childbirth. TSH stimulates the synthesis and secretion of hormones such as thyroxine and triiodothyroxine by the thyroid gland. ACTH acts on the adrenal cortex. It controls the production and secretion of steroid hormones like glucocorticoids and the sex corticoids. In females, LH stimulates ovulation of the Graafian follicles, the formation of the corpus luteum, and the secretion of progesterone by the corpus luteum. Hyposecretion of this hormone leads to sterility in females. In males, LH is known as the interstitial cell-stimulating hormone. It stimulates the Leydig cells in the testes to secrete androgens. FSH stimulates the development of several ovarian follicles in the ovaries. In males, FSH and androgens stimulate spermatogenesis in the seminiferous tubules of the testes. Together, FSH and LH are called gonadotrophins because their target organs are the gonads. MSH or intermedin is the only hormone secreted by the pars intermedia and is also known as intermedin. MSH regulates skin pigmentation by stimulating the melanocytes. Neurohypophysis develops from the terminal region of an ectodermal outgrowth of the hypothalamus. It is also known as pars nervosa or the posterior lobe of the pituitary gland. It is under the direct neural control of the hypothalamus. It stores and releases two hormones called oxytocin and vasopressin. These hormones are actually synthesized by the hypothalamus and are transported to the neurohypophysis through axons. In females, oxytocin enhances contraction of smooth muscle cells in the wall of the uterus at the time of childbirth and milk ejection from the mammary glands. Therefore, oxytocin is known as the birth hormone and milk ejection hormone. Vasopressin stimulates the kidneys to reabsorb water and electrolytes into the blood by the distal tubules. It thereby reduces the loss of water through urine. Hence, it is also called the antidiuretic hormone. Hyposecretion of the antidiuretic hormone leads to diabetes insipidus. It is characterized by the excretion of dilute urine several times a day, resulting in excessive thirst and dehydration. Another endocrine gland in the brain is the pineal gland. It is a small, rounded gland located on the dorsal side of the forebrain. It secretes a hormone called melatonin, which regulates the 24-hour rhythm of the body. It maintains the normal rhythms of the sleep-wake cycle, body temperature, etc., and also influences metabolism, pigmentation, the menstrual cycle, and our defense capability. The endocrine glands of the brain are very crucial in regulating mood, growth and development, metabolism, sexual functions, and reproductive processes in the human body.
That's all for today. Thank you and have a nice day.